Hi, today I want to talk about hyperfixation. This is something that happens to ADHDers, autistic people, and in my case, ADHDers, because I have both. So I had a little Google, and hyperfixation, according to the internet, is the same thing as hyperfocus, but in my mind, they feel like two kind of slightly different things, like there's a bit of nuance. So hyperfocus is something that happens when I get into a focus state, when I am doing something and I lose track of time and I don't know what's going on and I might forget to eat and I might forget to sleep, etc. I made a whole video about hyperfocus, so I will link to that in the description box if you want to check that out first. Hyperfixation, and this is entirely my own interpretation of the definition, is when a thing takes a grip on my brain and it's all that I can think about and I obsess about it. So it's often like either an item that I want to own or a hobby that I've taken up, or it can actually also even be a person. Like you've met a new person and they're amazing, not necessarily in a romantic sense, but you're completely fixated and they are all you can think about. So it's not so much the flow state that I get into where I'm just fully engrossed in something, more the I go to sleep thinking about it, I wake up thinking about it, I'm researching it during the day, whatever it is constantly inside my brain. Mr. Purple used to describe my hyperfixations as like a terrier with a bone, as in like I will not let it go, and I think that's quite a good metaphor. Hyperfixations can be really joyful, and they can be the thing that brings excitement into our lives. So I've been working on unmasking my autism and my ADHD, and letting myself enjoy my hyperfixations has been a part of the unmasking process. In the past, I used to feel embarrassed about my hyperfixations, like they were something silly or trivial or ridiculous and I should try and let it go and not be so fixated on things. And then recently I realised that one of the things that I've lost is the joy of experiencing and enjoying a hyperfixation. If I tell myself it's silly and I shouldn't do it, then I've lost the joy. And I was watching my autistic ADHD child have a hyperfixation and just talk about it constantly and thinking, this isn't a problem, this is lovely. I am watching a person experience joy from something. So that is the positive side of hyperfixations, and I'm going to let myself enjoy them. So recently I let myself dive deep into a couple of hyperfixations. One of those is these cuddly toys, which you will see behind me. These are Jellycats. It's a particular brand of soft toy, and this is my first one that I got. This is Bashful Bunny. I now have got 6 Jellycats, which I absolutely love. I also am on a Jellycat Reddit board. I am researching them. I am looking for rare ones. I'm just really enjoying the fact that my brain can get so much pleasure from this relatively small thing and learn so much about it. The other hyperfixation, which anyone who has been watching my Instagram or my TikTok will know about, is roller skating. So, roller skating, bit of a random one, especially for someone with a physical disability and painful joints. But even so, I saw someone roller skating on the internet and decided that I had to be that person. Like, not that person literally, not a mask thing, but like I needed to be on roller skates. I spoke to Mr. Purple about it, and initially he was a little bit like, you're physically disabled, how's this going to work? So I dove deep into roller skating and decided that it is not a high impact thing. So I can't run, I can't play high impact sports, I can't bounce on trampolines because my joints don't like it. But roller skating is not a high impact thing, and that I could just do it for short periods of time. Even if I can only do 10 minutes at a time, it will bring me so much joy, it'll be worth it. So then started the roller skating hyperfixation, where I was watching exclusively roller skating videos on the internet, following roller skating YouTubers, looking at the different kinds of roller skates, the benefits of different wheels, the benefits of different stoppers. There is way more to roller skates than you would realise. There are roller skates with metal plates, there are roller skates with plastic plates, there are soft wheels, there are hard wheels, all of which are suitable for different things. There are different gradings of wheels. Even the toe stopper, you can get adjustable ones, you can get non-adjustable ones. Needless to say, there is a lot more to a roller skate than you would imagine. And then came the day that I got my roller skates. The joy. I have a pair of purple Moxie bunny roller skates. They are beautiful. In fact, I should show them to you. Okay, so these are my roller skates. They are purple. They are like kind of velvet suede. They have purple wheels. They are beautiful. They are so beautiful, and they make me so happy that sometimes I just put them on my feet when I'm not even roller skating, just to feel the joy. I am not particularly good at roller skating yet, but obviously a part of the research into the roller skates was, where can I roller skate in my local city? How do I meet other roller skaters in my local city so I can learn stuff? And how, and more importantly, do I not injure myself whilst roller skating? So I have the knee pads, I have the wrist guards, I have the helmet. Obviously my helmet is purple. I'm going to quickly show you a clip of me roller skating now. Because I had to, because it's roller skating and it's all that I can think about. Okay, so anyway, you get the idea, and I've had an excuse to talk about roller skating for 5 minutes. Hyperfixations can have a little bit of a negative side. Not being able to stop thinking about something can be a little bit tricky when you have a life to live and other things to do. So I have to stop myself from thinking about roller skating in order to care for my children, in order to do my job, in order to talk about autism, because actually autism and ADHD have been replaced by roller skating in the last month. I'm sure that it won't be permanent, but it's been a bit like, I don't want to talk about autism on this video today. I in fact want to talk about roller skating, but I'm not a roller skating channel, so don't worry, I won't be doing that. The other potential downside is the financial implications. So obviously I've had to buy roller skates and I've had to buy a bunch of stuff, and it's entirely possible, and this is the thing with hyperfixations, you never know how long they're going to last. So it could be that you start hyperfixating on something and then it turns into a hobby that maybe you're less fixated on but that goes on for a long time, which is kind of what happened to me with juggling. I got hyperfixated on juggling, I turned it into a career, I worked as a juggler for 5 to 8 years, around that amount of time, I'm not entirely sure. So it was worth me investing that time and that energy. But there can be other shorter hyperfixations which you've invested a load of time and energy in that then suddenly aren't interested anymore, and I can't make my brain focus on it. So I'm sure that anyone out there who has experienced this will know I've bought all the equipment, I've done all the research, and now I'm not interested. That could be costly. And you know, we're in a cost of living crisis here in the UK. I don't have a huge amount of money to be spending on hobbies that are not going to last. The reason that I've invested in the roller skates is it's a way for me to do exercise, and I'm hoping it's going to be a long hobby for me. If that didn't turn out to be the case, then it would be a bit of a waste of money, which I can't really afford to do because I can't afford to pay for the equipment for a new hyperfixation every month. So there has to be like a certain amount of self-accountability in really logically thinking through whether this thing is going to be possible, maybe not investing in like all the most expensive stuff straight away, maybe starting small. So for example, one of the hobbies that I love is art, and when I first got into art I did hyperfixate about it for about a month, but I didn't go out and buy like loads and loads of art equipment. I only let myself buy a sketchbook and a pencil and a decent fine liner pen. And I didn't let myself invest in more equipment even though I really wanted to, because I wanted to see whether this hobby would progress. I now draw using Procreate on an iPad with a Apple Pencil most of the time, which was obviously like not so much of an investment because I already had an iPad, but I did have to buy the Apple Pencil. But I'd been drawing for about a year before I let myself invest in that equipment. Now there's no way to roller skate without investing in a pair of roller skates and the protective equipment, so that was a bit more of a tricky one. But I suppose at the end of the day, if it didn't work out, I could sell that equipment to somebody else. So being accountable to yourself for whether you really should drop a couple of £100 on your hyperfixation is a good idea, particularly if you have other things like bills and food to pay for and you can't really afford it. Being honest with yourself about that kind of thing is a good idea. And then the other danger point for me with a hyperfixation is putting pressure on myself that this now means I have to be really, really amazing at this thing. So, for example, in the juggling example, I kind of killed juggling by turning it into a career. I don't really juggle at all now, and I absolutely loved it, and it gave me a lot of joy. But I couldn't just be happy juggling. I had to be like the best juggler. I had to be this brilliant. I put myself up against other jugglers. I just made too much of a thing of how good I needed to be at it. It can be hard to love something, be watching it loads and loads, see what skill level can be attained, and not tell yourself that you need to obtain that skill level, or you need to turn it into a career, or now this is your entire life and you have to do this thing forever. That is a quick way to kill hyperfixation. Ditto, if your hyperfixation is on a person, for example, that is a really quick way to kill a potential friendship. Because in the hyperfixation on a person example, the chances are that what you have created in your mind that this person is not who this person is, especially because hyperfixations tend to be on people that we have only recently met. We have kind of built a whole character arc around this person before we really know them properly, and then that can only lead to disappointment for us and pressure on the other person, and isn't really a great starting point for a friendship. So I would really urge, if you start to feel yourself hyperfixating on a person, that you try and rein that in, because it's not usually a good idea. So in general, and I'm saying this as someone who is literally obsessed about roller skating, if you can be chill, about it, it's probably going to be more satisfying. So with the roller skating, even though obviously I want to be spinning in circles and dancing like John Travolta on a disco on my roller skates and giving it all that, I am telling myself that all I actually want to do is be able to skate and be able to stop skating, because you do have to be able to stop, as I have discovered recently. Yes, I did fall. And that's all I actually need to be able to do in order to be able to enjoy roller skating. And if I pick up any skills along the way, well, then that's a bonus, but there is no pressure on me. I don't have to be amazing at roller skating. I don't have to be able to do tricks in order to enjoy this hobby. So if you can possibly logic your way into a hyperfixation with realistic expectations, then that is a good idea. And it's something I'm definitely doing with this roller skating thing, so hopefully it is possible and I can do that, and it's not going to lead to me feeling disappointed if I don't achieve this ridiculous ambition that I've set for myself with the hyperfixation. So yeah, really, this is just an excuse for me to talk about roller skating. You can see that, can't you? But I wanted you to see the joy that hyperfixation brings, and I wanted you to understand that it's okay to have these aspects. I think those of us who've grown up neurodivergent have experienced people treating us like the way that we approach life is somehow silly or frivolous or wronged, and it's not. If your brain can give you a great deal of joy from hyperfixating on a particular interest or a particular TV show or whatever it might be, and you experience the amount of joy that I have experienced over my roller skating one, well, that's absolutely brilliant, and we should not be ashamed of that. So the message here in this video is enjoy your hyperfixations, but don't ruin them by making them something that is negative financially or in terms of goal setting. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you'd like to see more content from me, I am an autistic ADHD creator who is unmasking before my audience's very eyes and learning to love who I am and be proud of who I am. And if you'd like to join me on that journey, do subscribe to my channel. Additionally, I am able to work thanks to the support of my members, the Purple People. The Purple People have a Discord group, and I also share a weekly written update with all of those people where I'm a little bit more honest and I share a little bit more of the real nitty-gritty of my life. So if you'd like to support me in that way, hit me on Patreon or hit me on the YouTube members. There are 2 ways to subscribe. Take your pick. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.